Welcome, content creators, to Sony Simplified. My name is Greg. I will be your host during this live chat today. Remember, this is a YouTube live, so please like and subscribe to the channel. The more likes and subscriptions, the more content we can create for you. Today's topics are going to be about why to use my menu in my Sony Alpha camera. I'm going to give you a live demonstration of how to actually customize it to your needs and your wants. And we're also going to go to tips and tricks on how to kind of do that to your quicker abilities and so forth. But today we'll be using the Sony Alpha Mark IV camera, the Alpha 7 Mark IV. And with this camera today, I want you guys to know that on the back of it, we're going to need to know where the menu button is and where the trash can button is. So if you look at the back of the Alpha 7 IV camera, just to the left, as you see on screen here, that little circle button, that's how you pull up the menu on your Alpha 4-7 camera. If you actually look down to the bottom right, you'll see that you'll have the trash can button there. Put that back in your memory for a little bit of storage, because we're going to come back to that later, because that's going to be one of those tips and tricks you did. And did I mention this was live? I think I did. So please put your comments in the chat. That way we can rack it. The more interactive that we get, the more I feel like we can make this chat even better. So please remember, put your chats in your chats in the live there, and we'll answer them as quickly as we possibly can. So let's get into why would you want to use my menu. So I'm going to pull up the actual photos portion of the camera. So if you actually look at the camera by the very top to the right there, you can put it in camera mode or in video mode. We're going to start today in that camera mode. So I'm going to make sure the 4 is in that, and then I'm going to push the menu button. When I push the menu button, that will pull up my menu, the menu system that you see here. And once again, remember, we're using the Alpha 7 Mark IV camera, and not all Alphas use the exact same menu system, but they're similar. So you should be able to get, even if you're not using the Alpha 7 IV camera, you should still be able to use these tips and tricks on the camera that you own. And hey, put it in the chat. Let me know what you have. I'd love to see what you guys are shooting with out there and what you're creating your content with. So please remember, just fire them off in the chat there. So now that we're in here, why? Remember we mentioned, why would you want to use my menu settings? Well, have you ever went and did a deep dive into the menu of a camera, especially one that's this advanced and has this many options? Well, look at this. In shooting, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different shooting basically options. And then each of those options has options. So that's 10 plus some more. Then if I go down into exposure and color, I have 7 options. If I go into the focus area, I have 5. If I go to playback, I'll have 7. If I go into network, I'll have 9. I'll have 9 options in network here. And if I go into setup, where you can actually set up the internal portion of this and check for all sorts of, I have 13. I've worked for Sony for many of years, and I still can't remember where everything is in the menu. So what Sony has done is they provided you my menu settings. This is going to allow you to actually create a custom menu, so you don't have to remember where everything is at in the camera. So I'm going to start to give you tips and tricks on how to set this up in the menu system. So let's go back to the menu. I'm going to pull it up, and you can go right in there. You'll see the very top one is that little gray star. That star is my menu. I'm going over to my menu settings. I can add an item from here, which I can just select that, and then I can scroll down through all of these options, and then I can actually select and add them to there. But I'm going to show you another quick tip to actually get this done. Hey, nice to see Ryan there. Awesome. I see we got an Alpha 7 Mark III in the crowd too. Awesome. So yeah, you should be able to use these on that camera as well. So keep them coming, keep the comments coming in there. But let's get back to the menu. Now I'm going to go back to my menu settings, and I'm going to go back to the actual menu where I'm going to slide down here. When I'm shooting, one of the one of the features I like to have really quick to my access is ISO, because there's nothing like going into a dark area or a light area and not having my ISO set and having to figure out where do I need to go change that. So I'm going to scroll down to the third box here, the little pink and pink box that you see called exposure and color. I'm going to go over one to exposure. Now from there, I'm going to go one more over to ISO. Look at that. There's ISO. But how do I get that into my menu settings? Remember that? I said put that in the back of your head, that little basically trash can button. So I'm going to go ahead and hit that. As I hit that trash can button while I have ISO highlighted, it gives me the option to add to my menu. So I'm going to hit the enter button, and then I'm going to go to my menu right here, and it says add to this location. I'm going to hit the enter button again. It's going to add that. So let's go back and check and see what happens. So I'm going to arrow all the way back over. Then I'm going back up to my menu. So then under my menu, look, there's my menu one, and there's ISO. I just added ISO into my menu. I know where it's at. I don't have to remember where it's at and all of those options that I have to choose from. Pretty neat, pretty cool. So what does everybody think so far? Let me check the chat and see what we've got here. Great. KP63, I'm glad you like that so far. Sci30, Sony forever. I love it. We love all of our Sony family out there. I'm hoping that we can give you a couple more tips and tricks on how to really customize this My Menu, because it'll give you a much quicker access to things that you need while you're shooting. So let's go back into the menu. I'm going to hit my menu here, and we just did ISO, right? So but what if I want something else? What does this say? I also like the eye autofocus. With our Sony cameras, our cameras will actually put a little green box around your eye. But did you know we have a difference for humans, animals, and birds now in our cameras? And to be able to switch between those, we got to know where to go into the menu to kind of switch back and forth. So let's do that right now. So I'm going to go back over. I'm going to scroll down to the focus area. So that's the fourth box down, the little purple box, that autofocus, manual focus box. I'm going to scroll over one, and I'm going to go down to number 3, face and eye autofocus. Then I'm going to scroll over one, and then I'm going to go down one to face eye subject. See how it says human? If I select this, it gives me human, animal, and bird. And this is where you would change that. So if one day I'm shooting portraits of people, then the next day I'm shooting somebody's pet, or I'm shooting my dog running around the house, and I want my camera to focus on my dog's eye, I switch it to animal. But if I don't know where that's at, it may take me a while to go through that and could delay some of the photo processing. So I'm going to back out to face and eye subject here in the menu. Now, again, remember that tip and trick, that trash can. So while I have face and eye subject highlighted, I'm going to hit the trash can. And there comes add to my menu. I'm going to click on add to my menu. Now you see that orange bar under ISO. I'm going to hit select, and it hits add. So now I'm going to go back over, and I'm going to go up to my menu. Now look, now I have ISO and I have my face right there, right in my menu number 1. So pretty simple. What do you guys think so far? All right, Tom, this is helpful. Awesome. I like that. Ryan G, does it have hybrid autofocus? We do have some lenses, and yes, we do have some of the hybrid autofocus. You could get into the focus settings in here. Let me go back to the menu, and let's go down to your focus. So you can get into the focus area, focus assistant, and so forth like that. And you have a bunch of focus settings in there that you can use and you can set into there. But let's go back to one of my favorite things, is the ability to format your SD card, right? Because if you've ever forgot to actually erase all the pictures after you've downloaded them, and you go to take some pictures and your thing says your card is full. Well, you usually have, thousands of pictures in there. Instead of having to delete them one by one, now you can actually go into the menu system. So let's go to shooting. So I'm going to move up to shooting here. I'm going to move over to file, or to media, and then I'm going to move over one from media to format. So that allows me to format my SD card and wipe it clean. Just make sure you have all those photos saved before you do this, because you won't have them on the SD card after that. Again, remember that tip and trick, that trash can, that little C4 button. I'm going to hit it. I'm going to add to my menu. Look, there's that orange line again. I'm going to hit add to here. But before I do that, look, I've got 6 different menus to choose from. So basically menu 1, menu 2, menu 3, all the way through 6. And we'll touch on that in a minute. But right now I'm going to hit add. And now I'm going to scroll back. Now look under my menu 1, I have ISO, face and eye subject, and format. All of those are right there, and I don't have to remember where they're at, and I have quick access. It's going to make shooting so much easier for me when I get this menu set up exactly the way that I want it, all right? Let's see, check the things. All right, we're still good. I don't see any new chats in there. If I missed any, I'm sorry, but it looks good there. All right, so you remember I said you can set the camera up in still modes or in video. Well, now what if I want to do video? Let's go back to the back of the camera, and that button up there where you actually put it in still mode, you can actually switch it over to camera mode. So now I'm going to go to my camera. I'm going to move that dial over, and I'm going to put it into the video mode. So if I'm doing vlogging or some kind of video content, now I'm going to hit menu. There's my menu. Everything that I saved a minute ago in stills is still there under my menu one. But now look, instead of the still camera, I now have the video camera in this menu. So now this gives me a couple more options that I might not have had in the still. So that's why it's important to know if you're in the actual still mode or if you're in the video mode of the camera when you go into the menu. So it's very simple to maybe not know where that button is and not get what you're looking for. But my menu will help you organize everything. So let's just go into this one. Let's just say I decided I want to shoot a video today. I want to do it in 4K and I want to go to image quality, right? But there, so I can select multiple image qualities over here. So I can go from anywhere from 4K to HD. And obviously 4K is going to take up more space on the card, or if you want to shoot in HD, it'll give you a little less, you take up a little less space on the card. But to be able to switch back and forth, watch this. I'm going to hit that trash can again. I'm going to add to my menu. But now look, that orange line is under format, but I don't want to add it to my menu one because my menu one was set up for, remember, my still photography. So I'm going to actually arrow back over. I'm going to arrow down to my menu two, and then I'm going to hit select. Then that orange line shows back up over there to the right and add to this location. I'm going to hit add. Now watch this. I'm going to go over here. Now I have my menu one. I have my menu two. My menu one shows everything that I saved. Now if I go down to my menu two, look, there's that file format for video. So now I can separate video menu systems from my photo system. So makes the camera much easier to operate and not so daunting and time consuming trying to remember where everything is in the menu. But with a tool this advanced and this good, you need all of those options to get the exact creative look that you're looking for. So let's check chat again. Wow, great. Ryan 6, great. Tom, thanks. Perfect. Well, let's go back into the menu system because I've got one more tip and trick for you, right? Because look, I pulled this up and that's pretty cool. I hit the menu button on it and it went right back to there. But what happens if I'm just scrolling through here one day and I say, you know what? I want to go into Focus Assistant. But while I'm in here, something came out. Oh, I want to take a picture real quick. I hit the shutter and I'm about to take that. And then I push the menu button to go back. Look, it brings me right back into the menu where I left off. Now, the problem with that is I don't, where was I? Where do I want to go? I don't, it's not near my menu. This just takes you back into that. But what if you come up here to my menu, I scroll over and I go down to my menu settings. Now I scroll over and I go down to display from my menu. So you have display from my menu is set to off, but if I turn this on, this is going to make a shortcut much easier for me here. So I'm going to go back in here and I'm going to go back down here to that autofocus or wherever I want wherever I was lost in there. Just say I'm here, I'm in Focus Assistant, and then I'm going to actually say, oh, I need to take a picture real quick. I'm going to get out of the menu. But now watch what happens when I hit the menu button now. I pull back and look where it takes me. It takes me directly to my menu. I'm not lost in all those other parts of the menu. Pulls me right back. And it gives me that confidence that I'm going to know exactly where I am, and it's going to make me a better photographer, video content creator. It's going to really make this camera your personal tool that you have set up your way. And that's my menu. Let me check the chat again to see if there's any questions or comments. Doesn't look like we have anything else in there so far, so perfect. All right, well, that was my menu. That was my tips and tricks. So let's just go back to a recap real quick. So with this recap, we went over why to use my menu. You saw how many options that were in there for that menu. I've worked for the company for, like I said, almost 15 years now, and I can't remember where everything is in this camera settings. So for me to be able to create my own menu system, and that way I know where things are, makes it much simpler. I don't feel as awkward using it. It's a great tool to customize it to your needs, which is awesome. Showed you the live demos, kind of how to go through the camera menu systems. Make sure that you know if you're in video or if you're in stills, and then how to go through the settings and use that trash can tip, right? So we kind of give you those tips and tricks. So that's my menu. That's why you want to set it up. It makes the camera yours, and it makes it simpler to use for you because you set it up exactly to the way that you want it. Now, with that said, if you still have more questions about Sony and their products, we have a one-on-one consultation. So let's just say you're interested in a new Sony camera, but you're not sure if it's going to be the exact one for you. You can sign up for this consultation. You'll get a personal call from somebody similar to myself that will be able to tell you, hey, yes, this camera is going to be exactly what you want it to do, or no, that camera might not be the perfect one. You might want to look at this one. So it's a one-on-one consultation. It's about a 20-minute long call that you can have with a direct contact with Sony and get the product that's right for you. And we don't limit it to just cameras. We do headphones, we do wireless speakers, home audio products, all of that is there. So please, if you have any questions around Sony product and you want a little more information on it, sign up for the Sony one-on-one consultation. It's a great, and it's free, doesn't cost you anything. So why not, right? Well, with that said, can't forget about the community. All you content creators out there, everybody that's using Sony cameras, we definitely appreciate it. We want to make sure we're listening to you. Okay, so please, for future topics, put it in the chat, put it in the comments there. And when you watch this video, let us know. Is it flash photography? Would you like to know how to maybe do some off camera flashes or how a flash works with the camera? Creative looks. You know, with that Alpha 7 IV that I was using in creative looks, I can shoot in black and white and really get some old timey looking photos. It's really kind of cool. And that's the creative looks. And then if you don't know about Creators app, that's how you connect the camera to your phone, or you connect it to the other sites that we have. So Creators app has a lot of room to grow with the camera as well. But you know what? It doesn't matter. You tell us what you want to see in the comments, and we'll keep creating videos for you here. And we hope you get the most out of this. Again, my menu makes it more your camera, right? Instead of having to remember what page, which folder it's under, this is a shortcut. And please, you have up to 6 of these that you can set up and do in your menu. So you can do one for photos, one for videos, and then whatever else you guys use yours. Tell me, put it in the comments. What do you use your camera for as well? And just remember, one last time in the chat to make sure, love the Alpha 7 Mark IV, great Alex. Flash photography would be great. Yeah, definitely. KP63, you're welcome. Appreciate that. And remember, thank you for being part of the Alpha community. We appreciate everything. And remember, like and subscribe to this channel, because the more you do, the more we can create for you. God bless. Have a great day.